Welcome, Generational Wealth. In this video, we will go over a second chance entry, or I should say a possible second chance entry on the openings or during or right before the openings of each session of London and New York. So what I mean is each session I have noticed due to back testing, and I'm still back testing this out, and I'm starting to notice it a lot more. So I figure I will present it to you guys so you can back test along with me. So now I have noticed that once the session opens, for example, once London session opens, it's leading to like a retracement to get in. Same with New York. When New York session opens, it's always either retracing or doing a retracement type candle. Let me show you so I can show you better. Let's look at the charts. Now it's not happening all the time, and I have noticed this on the 15-minute time frame. So if you want to back test this out, you want to go on the 15-minute time frame. So what I've been doing, I have been placing my London and New York vertical line openings. So the pink line here represents the opening of London session. And then this blue line, vertical line, represents the opening of my New York session. So what I have noticed is that the market tends to do such. See how it's going down, but it's retracing. Going down, but it's retracing. Going down. Now London session get ready to open. And look what we get. It's retracing right at the London session opening, and right before it drops. Now, like I said, I'm noticing that it's starting to do this retracement during the opening of London session as well as New York session, and that is happening. I would say in the move, I would say it looked like it seems to be happening an hour or so or before, after, maybe 2 hours, or sometimes right at that opening. But for example, look how New York session opens, right? After we get the downtrend, the retracement for London session, right? It's starting to shift up. But then again, it retraces, and look what opens. The New York session opens right here where it starts to retrace at, right here, this pullback, whatever you want to call it. And then it goes up to an hour later, it drops. So that's why I said we know New York as being the reversal move, but we also know it can be a retracement move. But in this case, we would have been looking for the reversal, of course, off of this M that was creating a London session, and it reversed right here. So let's look at next day. We got London session right there, New York session there, and this is lining up perfectly with just the daily cycle structure, how the daily cycle structure plays out, period. So again, London session opens right here at this pink vertical line. New York session opens at this blue vertical line. These white lines right here represents the session breaks. So that represents the 24-hour period separation of each day. So we know in between that session break and up to London session is our Asian consolidation. So lead from Asian consolidation is starting that retracement right here we see. And then London session opens. and shoots up. New York session opens with the reversal it does as expected and reverses the market. London session brings it up, New York session reverses it. And this is the midweek reversal too. So now, how can we use this as a second entry? I will show you that once one of the patterns, I guess, presents itself on what I look for as a second entry for this. So, but during my observation and back testing, I have just noticed this. It starts to kind of always kind of retrace up to the during or before the London session as well as the New York session. Like such, it kind of retraced up here. New York session. Candle opened up right here. That kind of like it, that's a little choppy, just played off the lows. Like every day won't present itself like such. But it's just crazy because it seems to always retrace or do even a small pullback, sometimes just with one candle or two candles right before. So for example, right, if we took this trade, in doing this, I guess this is kind of opens up a more of a, I guess, opportunity to trade, I guess. More, I said more than Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday. I guess it'll open up an opportunity to trade Sunday, Monday, and Fridays as well. Now, this still have to be back tested, so that way you have to understand it. So, just like such, Asian session open, but you see how I kind of pulled back, and then it pulled back right at the opening of London session, right? Pull back right there. Now, this always seemed to pull back or retrace. That's what I have noticed. So now, is this can this offer us a possible trade setup? It can eventually if you know the direction of where this market is going. So knowing that is going to be important. So that's going to know how you're going to know that is from the daily cycle structure as well as the weekly cycle structure. So what day of the week it is? What is it? Is the market trending this way in this direction now, or is it trending in this direction based on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe reversal? So that is something you also want to keep in consideration, as well as the ADR, which is the average daily range. So if you have not watched the video on that, check that out because you want to know the average daily range when doing this as well. Because say you get in on a second chance, which I'll show you here soon, a second chance entry, you want to know how much of the ADR has been filled already. So, for example, New York session opens up right here. See how when New York session opens, we really don't see too much going on, right? We really don't see too much going on, but we do see it does. Once it gets open, it retraces. So, is that an opportunity to get in? Is that an entry for a sale? Is that an entry? You know, so that's comes from the back testing. That's 65 pips right there. So this is what I would call a second chance entry, being that the move happened. We see that the move happened. London session opens up, does this, it drops. Now, being this will not be our normal trade setup, but what I'm looking for is more of an opportunity for us to take trades. So now back testing is how I figured this out. So what happens is start to retrace, always seem to retrace or come a candle or two, or even more than a candle or two before or after or during these opening of these sessions. So now that opened up a second chance entry for us right here to get in on the continuation of what was already going on, to ride this market down and catch those 65 pips. Let's look at another day. And I'm just going through the days, you guys. I'm just doing this, going through the days to see see if there's anything. It's the same thing right here. See somewhat of a small retracement, but I hope you guys can see what I'm seeing. It's like when the market is making its move, it retraces. When it's time for the sessions to open, it's also doing that retracement. So is that opening up opportunities? London session opens up right here off Asian sessions. The high, the first high of the day, and reverses. New York session opens, it retraces again up to it. You get a second chance entry, get in, and ride some pips to the downside. So that's, it's just crazy because it's doing this. It's retracing around these openings of these sessions. So is that out opening up an opportunity for us to get in? Now, the second chance I'm noticing is after the move has already been made. Either London session, New York session will open up through that retracement. Like I teach before, that New York will be that retracement or the reversal. So it'll open up another opportunity if you didn't catch the initial movement if it happened at London session. So say, for example, if the midweek reversal, say this, we got a leg, and then this, our second leg W, happens to be right at the opening of London session. Say the London session opens right here. And once London session opens up and you don't catch that initial move at the bottom of that leg, New York session, it seems to retrace. So you can get in right here, right before it continues. So that would be your second chance entry right here. Now let's keep looking. London session, and then of course New York. But New York gave us that second chance. So what we see here? We got our Asian session. Asian session. Get to London session. Now see how once we get to London session candles is right here when it opens. This bearish candlestick. What is that bearish candlestick representing or acting as? A pullback. There's another one. You know, is acting as the pullback. Like I said, sometimes it could be just that one candle. It opens up, broke out of Asian consolidation, but the move already happened. The move happened way before London session opened. 1, 2, 3. It happened an hour before. The breakout happened an hour before. So once the session opened, if you didn't, if you're not a breakout trader like the retail traders teach you, your chance to get in is right here. Your second chance entry for London session. Then what happened again? Look at the retracement again, guys. New York session opens. Look at this retracement. It always seems to retrace right around these sessions for you to get in again. And the entry was right here on this candlestick. Right at that stop hunt, it did right here at this candlestick, which was 45 minutes after the opening of New York session. but it retraced. You see it retraced. And like I said, this happened 45 minutes after. So what I'm looking for to get in on this trade, as I've been live back testing it as well, is I sell on the bearish. I would sell on this bullish candle. See this bullish candle here? I would sell here. So I would sell on that bullish candle. And I also would try to buy it off bearish candles. So this one would be to buy off a bearish candle. So let's look at another day. See what we see. Like these both made us some W formations, London and New York. Let's see. I guess it kind of still did this little retracement, but I don't really like how that one looked as much. But it still did it. As you see, it still kind of retraced. But it gave us a little W formation right here, though, off the low. For 50 pips off the low of London session, though. New York session did. That was a nice little W formation off that, though. That's you have to, in order to see that and know that, you have to understand the daily cycle structure. You have to understand the daily cycle structure. It's like you can kind of see where all you got to start to do is kind of look for the retracement areas where the market kind of start to do the little retracements. Is where these sessions is opening. You know, where these sessions is opening, where this is happening. And New York session seems to be see, of course, this was our midweek reversal, guys. Right here, if you don't see it's midweek reversal taking place. The downtrend was happening Wednesday, Thursday. The midweek reversal right there happened. So, of course, now we know the direction of the trend, right? That is going up because the midweek reversal just occurred. So when this happened, we know that this retracement move would be, which would be in an hour, like an hour, 2 hours after for a perfect entry. Either one of these candlesticks, actually, we could have got in for a buy at New York session because it just kind of retracing just gave us, the retracement was just giving us that opportunity to get in. So the thing is, knowing New York session and we knowing the direction the midweek reversal just occurred, in which direction it's going now, that would have been just an easy buy for a second chance entry. I hope you guys are following me and understand what I'm saying. And I hope you can see this perfectly planned out as it starts to retrace like this. And you have to understand, like I said, you have to understand the daily cycle structure as well as the weekly cycle structure. But look what it does again, is start to retrace, opening right before that session, the London session, opening up, right? We see it happening. We see the move happening right here. It comes down, it retraces. It comes down, New York, London session opens, it retraces. Move right there, boom. Happen right there. New York session happens, what it'll do? It retraces again. But you know, so it's just crazy that it's starting to retrace after these moves all the time. London session made the low, of that day. New York session opened up with this bullish candle. Once it made its move, once it started to retrace, wait a couple hours or so. Look what it did. Made a W formation and shot up for the reversal. Because remember, guys, we know we don't want to sell this because we know that the move is already going up. We know that due to the midweek reversal, this direction has changed. Remember, look, Monday, see we was coming from a downtrend. Monday, Tuesday, the Wednesday, the weekly structure. So why would we be looking for a sell? You know, we'd be looking for a buy. We'd wait for that retracement to do what it do. Like I said, sometimes it happens an hour or so before, or sometimes an hour or two after the session opens. And sometimes it's giving us a possible second chance entry to get in. And go back test this for yourself. Don't just take my word. Go back test this so you can see. You know, you also have to consider the highs, the lows of what's going on. Look, we got a high right here, right? Of course, we got a high Friday. This is Monday now. We got a high. What is it doing? London session opens up off of the high. What do New York session does? Retrace. Look, you see it move happen. It retrace. It retrace, then the New York session opens, retrace, give you a second chance entry right there. Your second chance entry once it opened up was right here. And that was 45 minutes to an hour after the session opened up. Wait for the retracement. Look for the retracement. That's what I can tell you. Just look for the retracement that's occurring at these sessions. And know the continuation, know the daily structure, know the weekly structure, what's going on. This is off a high. So what also I noticed that London session has made the move right here. This was off the high, like I just said before. It was off this high right here. The move was right there. That was a perfect move. For whoever took that trade off London, that would have been a perfect entry. Now, if you didn't get in and you missed that move, your second chance is right here at the opening of New York when it retraced. It retraced to give you a chance to get back in. That was the second chance entry. Second chance entry right here to get in on the sell. And you don't want to, and this is a retracement. So you want to get in on the continuation of the move because the move was that was the move off the macro M. But it happened instead of the New York reversal, it happened at New York reversal, it happened at London session. So that does not mean, you know what I'm saying, it's not going to happen. Or just because it didn't happen at New York, it came back and retraced, gave you that pullback for a second chance entry. I mean, I guess we can kind of see what this is. We'll kind of play out here. Asian session opened up, created the low. Remember, you need to know the highs and the lows. You have to know the highs and the lows to do this too. That is important. The highs and the lows is important when you dealing with structure. Low was created. London session opened up right here. Hour after London session opened, the move happened. It retraced. Start to drop down. Of course, New York session open. We would have waited for this because we would have just, of course, seen this happening. This off the low of Tuesday to look for that, to catch that move right there, the reversal move, which was a nice amount of pips, like over 100 pips right there. Here we go again, guys, for the second chance entry at New York. Look what happens. Off the low, still playing off the low, right? But what do we have? We know this is Wednesday, so we know we're gonna get a little push to a reversal to the upside, right? Because we made a reversal, now we know the direction. London session opens, pink vertical line right here. It opens. New York session opens. What do it do? Retrace. Second chance entry to get in. Right there. Second chance entry. Yeah, this is crazy. It's crazy that it always seems to do that. It kind of just seems to, kind of do a little retracement, a little pullback at the openings. See? But when you get in, retrace, retrace. That little candle. Every day won't open up an opportunity, but this can open up more opportunity to take more positions and trades when trading the daily cycle structure. So you want to be aware of, like I said, your ADR as well as of these sessions, the weekly cycle structure. I mean, we kind of see this one. Asian session happens. London session opens, it drops too low. New York session opens up and reverses the market. But guys, like I said, back test this so that way you can see that that it start to retrace around these openings of these sessions. But New York London session right here, they always do these little pullbacks right around these sessions. New York session right here. Of course, that was a New York reversal, of course. For a Tuesday reversal. Nice Tuesday reversal. Off Monday low. But guys, back test this so you can see this playing out over and over. That it is retracing at these times of these openings. London session, New York session. London session, the move was already happening. New York session just kind of was a continuation. And like I said, guys, I have noticed this just from back testing. And it is seem to happen on most, if not all pairs that is doing this. So some pairs might work better than others. Some pairs you might be able to see it happening better on certain pairs. But the thing is, the back testing is very important because that's where you start to see this happening. See, there you go right here. It makes the move, then it do a little pullback. Look at New York section opens right here. It does a little pullback. The continuation is right here to get in for a sale. The move happened right here at London. The move happened right there at London. Like I said, if you see the move already happened at London like this, and it's already kind of created a strong downtrend or uptrend, and New York session is approaching, look for the continuation to go with the trend, not with with London session. Don't go against it at this point. You want to catch the New York session as a retracement instead of a reversal, unless it's off a high or a low or as such, if that makes sense. London session opens up right here, kind of do the little retracement candle. Of course, New York session is right here, where it's doing the little retracement stuff. And like you can start to see this, the areas of where it's doing it at actually before you even get in. It's starting to retrace and pull back at certain areas. So, like I said, just go to go to any pair and just and see. Go to wherever pair you trade and back test this and see if you see this starting to happen. If you see it happen on certain pairs or whatnot. We got London session have right here. New York session opens up right here, but look what it does, retrace. The move happened right here at London session, right? When I said the London session makes the move already, New York session usually opens up with that retracement entry, second chance to get in. So, like I said, guys, back test this yourself. Back test it and see if it works out for you. Couple things that, like I said, I would remember. Just remember the ADR when you're doing this. Back test this with the ADR, so that way you are familiar with whatever pair you back testing this on. That you familiar with the ADR of the last past 5 weeks, 10 weeks, or however far you go back to back test the pair. And I noticed this on the 15-minute time frame. I have not tried it on the 1 hour time frame. I'm pretty sure it is still doing the retracement. It's just probably on the 15-minute you can see more of the retracement actually happening with the candlesticks. Yeah, guys, the moves seem to be happening around these sessions. Seem to be retracing. So look for the opportunity to get in these trades off back testing this. So I appreciate everyone checking out. Thank you.